what if this time I don't wake up? Like, what if this time a kid comes in here to wake me up because I didn't wake them up and like I'm just not responsive? Like, what are my kids going to do without me?
Hi, and welcome to the BODi Experience. I'm Carl Deichler, CEO and co-founder of BODi, and we are going into the summer months. I want to help you get into the mindset of a true, what we call feel-good summer, and keep that mindset all the way through the fall and winter. You start with a project, you start with a program, get that win of finishing that one program, and that's what's going to get you in the habit. And then you start another program, and all of a sudden, you're going to see results that you never thought possible. And that's the way it worked for me. I'm not a fitness person. I don't like to eat healthy. I eat like a toddler. So I drink my shake and I do programs that are goal oriented for me. But this isn't about me. This is about helping you be inspired by somebody who does something that I don't think many people have ever climbed a mountain that is as steep and as difficult as what today's guest has done. She's a BODi customer who is proof that is so inspiring that I think you should get your tissues, because her story is emotional and powerful. Today, we're talking to Maria Casas, who lost 202 pounds in 34 months. That's just a little less than 3 years, and was even one of the winners of the Beachbody Challenge at Summit in 2023. So welcome to the BODi Experience, Maria Casas. Hi, Maria. Good to see you again.
Hi there.
How are you?
I'm great.
Now, where are you right now? Just so I know, geographically, where are you sitting?
I am at my home in northern Michigan.
Got it. How's the weather up there right now?
It's a little cloudy today.
All right. Well, you're bringing the sunshine to the BODi Experience. You've lost 202 pounds, and I want to get right into your story. What led to how you were in that state? Your start weight was 300 something pounds, was it?
Yeah, so the last time I recorded my weight was 368 pounds. I know that it was definitely more than that. I had always been in the mindset of if I don't know, it's not as bad. So I stopped weighing myself for about a good 2 years before I had decided to make the change that stuck and changed my life.
So what led to that? 368 pounds. What was it that conspired to let you get there? Because it couldn't have been comfortable. I'm sure that there had to be real problems that you were facing, both health issues and lifestyle issues at that kind of weight.
Yeah, so I had actually always been overweight, even as a child. Not extremely overweight, but just always was the larger kid. And it kind of just gradually throughout life, more and more weight. I remember entering middle school, or maybe not entering middle school, but I remember being in middle school and I was already close to 200 pounds. So just I started life being overweight and never really did anything about it, didn't really see it as an issue. I did get teased a lot in school for it, but it wasn't something that I thought like I needed to diet at a young age or anything like that. In high school, I kind of maintained my weight in the low 200s, but I finished high school at 18 and I was pregnant. So after that pregnancy is when I reached up to the 300s, and the back-to-back children for the next several years. My weight just kept going up. I would do a little bit, like after having my babies, I would drop just a little bit of weight, but I never reached pre-pregnancy weight with all of them. So it just continued to rise. Throughout that, I had went from being pre-diabetic to being diabetic. So as my weight increased, my health was also decreasing. And it led me to where I was almost 400 pounds at 28 years old.
So, we hear about, becoming type 2 diabetic with the decay of lifestyle or a certain, perpetuation of difficult lifestyle. What is it like? Like, what happens when you when you get that diagnosis, you're a type 2 diabetic. How does life change? What does that mean?
So when I got the diagnosis of being officially being type 2, I had it during my pregnancies, and outside of pregnancy they kept saying, you're borderline, you're pre-diabetic, but while I was pregnant, I had gestational diabetes. So it's something that was very common in my family. Like my mother, my grandfather, my grandmother had type 2 diabetes as well. So I just took it as like, it runs in the family and this is just how it is. This is just what's in the works for me because it runs in the family. When I officially got the diagnosis, it wasn't like life changing. It was just more like, this is how it is. I knew that this was going to happen just because isn't that how it happens when it runs in the family?
Yeah, I see. So now that also has an emotional toll. You're exposed to whatever outcome that might be, and type 2 diabetes can proceed to being something quite dangerous for people. In your background, I read that you used to lay in bed crying, and you felt hopeless. You were afraid of dying, and what that effect might be on your family, on your kids. Can you tell us about that emotional experience at that point?
After having the diagnosis of type 2 diabetes, that was when I really got into I'd rather not know how bad things actually are. And while being in that mindset, things were getting way worse. And it was stemming from the type 2 diabetes. I was having a lot of other issues that were scaring me because I had young children and I was home alone with my youngest during the day while the other ones were in school. And things like passing out would happen often, being very lightheaded, and just always being in fear of like, if something happened to me, what is this 2-year-old going to do? Like, we live out in the country. He's not going to just be able to go find help. And then I was at a point where at night, coming down from whatever I ate for the day, having really high blood sugars, I would typically pass out after dinner. I mean, I would say like take a nap, but really it was just like that crash from high blood sugars. I would pass out for an hour or two after dinner and I would just feel so groggy and so like down and worn out. And I would often go to bed and just be like, what if this time I don't wake up? Like, what if this time a kid comes in here to wake me up because I didn't wake them up and like I'm just not responsive? Like, what are my kids going to do without me? Because my health is so bad, I really didn't know what was actually going on.
That has to be just heart-wrenching, probably difficult to get to sleep when you're dealing with that. How would you, how are you approaching, thinking about changing your lifestyle? Did you try anything before you found BODi, and why didn't that work?
I did try things here and there, but I never really like went all in. I used to watch My 600-Pound Life on rerun, and I would try to like use that as inspiration to like make a change. And that was, you have weight loss surgery. They would go through weight loss surgery to lose the weight. And I would watch that and it was kind of like put into me like, I'm not going to achieve what I'm wanting if I don't do that. So not seeing other people making like a natural change to achieve what I wanted kind of really held me where I was. But I knew like all along, I knew that whatever it was that I needed to do needed to be like a lifestyle change. And I just knew that that could be done through the way that I was eating, the daily habits that I had. But it took me time to actually put that into action. I just don't think I believed in myself because I didn't see others at my size with such an extreme amount of weight to lose. I didn't see other people doing that. So I kind of felt really hopeless, like I was stuck.
You said that you tried random workouts on YouTube, for instance. We see a lot of people, they're free, you get to go for them, but you never felt like you could do them. And then you decided to try Morning Meltdown 100. Why didn't the YouTube workouts work for you? And what was it that made you decide to pick Morning Meltdown 100 to get started?
I remember searching YouTube for workouts for beginners, workouts for extremely obese, workouts for those who could barely move. Like I would put anything in and I would get, all of these workouts that promised I would be able to do them. They were like an hour long. They were very intense. I literally felt like I was dying, and it made me think like this is how it's supposed to be because I'm this size and I'm so out of shape. Like this is punishment for being my size, and I was not finding anything that like met me where it was. It was some trainer on the screen who just gave me like one option, and I didn't know that like there's modifications. Like really, very rarely did I come across something like that, and the modifications still were something that weren't really realistic for me to do at that size. So I really had a awful relationship with working out. I was trying to find a program that I was going to commit to. So I came across Morning Meltdown 100 and I saw that there wasn't just one modification option, there was actually two. And seeing that second modifier who not only showed me that I could do it, but being able to kind of relate to her, seeing somebody who looked almost my size doing it and like actually getting through it and doing it on top of Jericho constantly reminding me, it doesn't matter, just keep moving. If this feels too hard, dance. If you can't do this, then do this, as long as you are showing up. And so I continued to push play on Morning Meltdown 100. And through that program, she really changed my whole entire outlook on fitness, because I went from thinking it had to be punishment to now it's like, it is a blessing to be able to move your body in any type of way that you can. And I just completely fell in love from there.
That's awesome. Now, obviously, by going for YouTube workouts and then Morning Meltdown 100, by the way, I assume you finished all 100?
Yep, for sure.
Awesome. Why was working out at home so important? Because most people would say, I'm going to go to a gym, I'm going to get a trainer, I'm going to have outsiders hold me accountable. Why did you choose to solve this at home?
I felt embarrassed and ashamed to walk into a gym. I didn't know what I was doing, and then to reach out and ask for help made me feel even more ashamed of myself. So finding something to do at home. Plus, I had 4 kids, so making a realistic routine was very important to me. Finding time to go to the gym at that point was not something that I could do. I also started this when it was like right after everything was shut down, so there wasn't even a gym option. So It was 2020, all my kids were home, I was homeschooling them all, and I needed something that met that need.
You said you hated yourself. You felt shame. That's pretty harsh. And so I'm wondering, at what point do you allow yourself to love yourself? And I wonder if you can remember, like, when do you get to look in the mirror? Is it when you get started with the program, when you lose 1 pound? Do you do that work before the weight loss matters? How do you go from shame to pride? And do you remember when that happened?
Yeah, it was actually really early on. I started with my nutrition and working on my mindset first before I had even stepped into a workout program. So I think that was like one of the best things to do, was focusing heavily on my mindset around food and my body. So I really focused on like celebrating the small things. Though I was so angry at myself for ignoring my health for so long and letting it get to where it was, I really had to tell myself that I can do this and I am strong and capable. I can achieve what it is that I'm setting out to do. And every day I got in the habit of doing a journal every single day. So I would set down like what my intentions were, what my goals were for the day, and what I was proud of myself for. And that really helped me heal the relationship that I had with myself and how I viewed myself.
That's pretty impressive. So in the midst of shame and self-loathing, you managed to find a mindset, and I guess it was the imperative for your family, for your own quality of life, and you started with nutrition. Did you follow a specific nutrition plan that helped you lose the weight, and why did that work for you?
So I started with 2B mindset. Coming from somebody who is a type 2 diabetic, I had been taught many times, meeting with dietitians, referred from my doctor to handle my type 2 diabetes. I kind of knew like the basics of how to handle it through nutrition, but it always seemed very extreme. Like I didn't want to go and cut out carbs for the rest of my life. And I remember, I believe it was Instagram. I used to always like search Pinterest and Instagram and Facebook for like healthy meals and such. And that's how I came across 2B Mindset. Seeing the structure of how the nutrition plan is, I knew, one, I could do that. Two, it wasn't restrictive. And three, it really was what I needed, especially in the beginning as somebody who has type 2 diabetes, trying to take control of that naturally. So I dove into it.
You found a nutrition program in 2B Mindset, but did you check it with your doctor to say, hey, is this going to be appropriate for helping me reverse type 2 diabetes?
Actually, I did not, because I was hiding from my doctor still. When I decided to make the change and do something about my health, I never consulted my doctor. I just did it on my own. So it wasn't until about 10 to 11 months in, after losing weight, I went to my doctor because I could feel that I had made improvement. I wanted to check and see how things were going with my diabetes. And that is when he said I could officially say that I had reversed my type 2 diabetes. My A1C levels were at a very healthy range. And that is when I told him what it was that I was doing. And he said, if it's working for me, then stick to it.
You did that in 10 months, you said? 10 or 11 months?
Yes.
That's amazing. Now, I'm just curious, like, how does life change when you reverse type 2 diabetes? Like, are you always vulnerable to getting it back? Is there something in your body that feels different? What's that mean?
So I've been told that you never are free of it. It will always be there. Like I could very well, add in those habits again that led me there to have it come back. But keeping things the way that they are, I will stay out of it. But technically, it's not anything that you can completely rid yourself of.
I just want you to know, do you know how many people right now you could be helping? There's tens of millions of people who are vulnerable to type 2 diabetes. They're what's called pre-diabetic. And a story like yours that shows people that with lifestyle, you can actually turn it around, and lifestyle of diet choices and exercise. How does it feel to know that you could actually be saving lives right now by inspiring people, by showing them what's possible?
I love being able to share this with others and let them know what is possible, because I needed somebody like me, and I didn't have somebody like me. If I would have had somebody who was loud and proud and sharing all of the things that they did and just pouring belief that you absolutely can make the change, you don't have to feel pressured to do something that you don't want to do. I feel like I could have started way sooner, but I know that sharing my story and how things have worked for me really can give hope to somebody, because I know how I felt so hopeless. I felt like I was so far gone. I know that I wasn't the only one. I know that there are so many who are still out there feeling that same exact way. They just need somebody to show them the way.
Did you ever get a chance to meet Elana? I just wonder if you've ever exchanged your story with the person that created 2B Mindset.
I have. I video chatted Elana once or twice. We text here and there as well. I absolutely love her.
So I want to see if I can get to a moment. So, here you are, 368 pounds or wherever you work. You stopped looking at the scale. But at some point, you had to start weighing yourself again. And I would imagine, I want to hear, what was it like the day you got on the scale, looked down, and realized that you had officially lost over 200 pounds? What was that day like?
I remember the specific day when I stepped on the scale and it was exactly 200 pounds down. And it was just like, oh my gosh, like I actually did it. Like I knew that I was going to do it because I had told myself I wasn't going to stop until I had achieved what I wanted. But seeing it was just like, it's so worth it. all of the struggles that I had, all of the times that I felt like I wasn't making progress for a couple weeks, all of the times where life felt so busy and so hard, but I chose to keep showing up, it was so worth it in that moment, realizing like, I actually did the dang thing. I completely changed my life. I dropped all of that weight and I did not regret any of the obstacles that came in along the way.
Now, some people say that even after they lose the weight, there's sort of this self awareness that does not change. And I'm wondering what your experience of that has been. Like, do you look in the mirror and see who you are now, or do you see who you were? Like, do you know what I'm saying? Has your self perception tracked with your healthy lifestyle?
Actually, that is something that I do struggle with often. Some days I will look in the mirror and I'll be like, wow, like we really did change our life. Like, oh my goodness, you're not the size that you used to be. But then there are some days where I walk past the mirror and just catching a glimpse of myself, and it's still hard to not see the person that I was for literally my whole entire life. So it's definitely still there. It's still slightly a struggle, but I have to really lean into and remind myself that like I lived in that body for so long. This is a new body now, and it's going to take time for my mind to really fully accept it and recognize it as like, this is me and this is going to continue to be me.
And how does that translate to the family? Does the family see you as this new version of you, as this is the real version of you? Like, what's their experience been like?
So I have 4 kids, and they were all pretty young when I started. My oldest at that point, I think he was 9 or 10, and even him, they all tell me like, I don't remember you like that before. Like anytime they see a before picture, they just tell me like, I don't remember you looking like that. They don't see me past who I am right now. And I love that. When they do see those before and after pictures, they're just mind blown and they tell me how proud they are. But to them, I'm just me. I'm mom and who I am right now.
That's amazing. Now, before we end this, I just, I'm so grateful and so proud of you for the work that you've done. It's not easy. We see people try and they have a hard time getting over the obstacles that led them to the lifestyle that they've got. So somebody like you who manages to put it together and see it through to losing over 200 pounds is such a valuable representative of what healthy lifestyle and health esteem can mean for people. Anything that you want to say to anybody who might be watching, who's not sure if they can do it, who's questioning whether they should get started and doesn't have a lot of hope, what would you say to that person that is the you of 34 months ago?
I would say that you don't have to have it all figured out right away. You literally just have to choose that you're going to take action, and knowing that it doesn't have to be all or nothing. You don't have to wake up the next day and completely try to live a different lifestyle. If I look at my lifestyle before to where it is now, it is completely different, but that didn't happen overnight. That happened from every single day that I chose to make a small action, and that led to the next one, to the next one, and to just keep going. Even if you feel defeated, even if it feels hard, even if you feel like you're not making progress, if you just keep going and keep showing up for yourself every single day in the best way that you can for that day, you will get there.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Maria. Thank you for inspiring all of us and anybody listening who, like Maria said, if you're ready to start, you don't have to think about the long term. It's about thinking about this next step. It's time to just decide that you are entitled to feel good enough about yourself, to feel good this moment, this week, this month, this summer. You can feel good this summer because everything about your quality of life will be enhanced by being more active, by improving the quality of your nutrition and your eating choices. And it's going to be good for you, for your whole family, to see your commitment and your consistency. And now you can get access to over 120 workouts from our BODi library of programs. You can go to BODiPreviews.com for free, and you get access to $60 of content. You can even do one of our 14 workout challenges and see if you can lose 3 to 5 pounds in that first 14 workouts. Or you find the program that's going to be right for you, and that's the way you get started. We've seen it over and over again, and that's all available to you in exchange for joining our email list. So you just go to BODi, that's BODi, previews.com, and see which program speaks to you. And if you have a great BODi experience that you'd like to share, I want to hear it. So you can submit your stories to our Instagram page. That's at BODi Stories. Again, that's BODi Stories on Instagram, and the team takes a look at it, and maybe you'll be on the podcast. Also, if you want to get updates from me whenever we post a new episode of the BODi Experience or get special offers or announcements, you can join my little private text community by texting me at 818-650-4369. That's 818-650-4369, and follow the prompts so that I can get to know you a little bit. Okay, that's it for today. I think you deserve a feel-good summer, and if you're not inspired and motivated by somebody like Maria, who's so selfless in sharing her story, because it can't be easy, I don't know how to inspire you. That's the kind of thing that we see every day at BODi, and every day we want you to be excited and motivated to pursue life-changing results. BODi's here to help you. And we want you to have healthy results, not just results, but the kind of results that feel good in your body so that it feels good to continue them. So let's get started, shall we? All right. Thanks for joining us on the BODi Experience. Thank you, Maria, and we'll see you next time.